Hi everyone, welcome to another session of MBA Pathshala. So before starting, I would like to inform you all that we are starting with new batches for CAT and non-CAT starting from Monday. This will have basic plus advanced plus test series and GTPI. It means first we're going to polish your basics and gradually we'll take you with your comfort to advanced level, the type of questions you guys can expect in your examination. And this will also include test series to evaluate how exactly you're proceeding, what exactly you're learning. And the last stage is GDPI. Okay, you can also attend free demo by IM alumni on Quants. For more information, you guys can call on this number or simply WhatsApp. Okay, one more reminder, 45 days CAT marathon we have already started with. Okay, so make sure that you guys join this marathon and you guys will learn a lot about CAT examination, how to solve high level of question, how to proceed, what will be the tricks, what's supposed to be the tricks, what's supposed to be the shortcuts and everything to save your time and get your answer correctly. A brief description how this marathon looks like. So this is the entire schedule of your CAT marathon. Okay, till the time you appear for your CAT examination. Okay, so our today's topic is about para completion. Okay, so whenever we talk about para completion, what exactly comes in your mind? Para completion means we have to complete a paragraph. So what you can do is that whenever we are going for para completion, you need to keep only one thing in your mind. There will be a sentence which is not there in the passage and you have to select it from the given options. Okay. Second thing, what's supposed to be the ideal formation of a passage. Okay, so many a time students get confused because obviously options will not be like that. The passage is talking about environment and the options are about politics or Bollywood and Hollywood, and there is only one option which is talking about environment. That is something not going to happen. Okay, so there will be a lot of confusion how to choose the last sentence, how to go for the last sentence, which one's supposed to be the right one, how we need to evaluate. So there are multiple tricks or there are multiple ways by which you can identify that exactly which option is the most appropriate one. Very first thing is, once you are done with eliminating options which you feel are absolutely incorrect, after that, suppose you eliminated two options on the basis of that they are incorrect. Now we are left with only two options and you find it really hard that how to identify the wrong one. In that case, what you can do is simply forget about identifying the wrong one. Just evaluate, compare, and come up with the most appropriate one. Which one is more suitable? Okay. Now, there are certain thumb rule if we talk about last sentence of a paragraph. First is that it should not generate any new topic which demands further explanation. Obviously, if I'll have a sentence with me which is demanding further explanation, which I don't have with me, so that passage, that paragraph is not complete at all. So this cannot be our paragraph completion. Okay, so no new topic should be there. No question mark should be there, which brings a question mark in your brain that, okay, I need an answer for this. I need to know something more about it to understand this in a fully manner. Okay, check what we are talking about. If we are talking about two things, make sure that suppose let's take an example of product A and product B. Okay, sorry, this is product A and this is product B. I'm talking about pros of product A. Make sure there will be pros of product B as well. I'm talking about cons of product A. There has to be this. Okay, so make sure that if we are introduced two topics with us, every single topic will have its own explanation. Okay, next thing which you need to keep in your mind, ideally there's supposed to be a certain way of coming up with the appropriate format of the passage. Now, what is that format is? Suppose I'm talking about product A, K pros. Okay, so first I mentioned A ka, then I'm coming with B ka pros, and then I'm again talking about A's advantage. So this is an incorrect formation and an inconsistent formation. The information should be consistent. It means if I'm talking about pros of product A, advantages of product A, they're supposed to be one after another. I cannot do this that I'm giving some another information in between and then I'm just provided advantages of product A in a very scattered manner. That should not be there. It should be consistent. It means if I'm talking about product A, it has to be first all the pros of product A, then all the pros of product B. Okay, this is the ideal formation of a passage. Just by keeping a couple of things in your mind, you'll be able to solve last sentence very easily. Now let's understand this theory part from understanding the questions. Now, a question says, most people have noticed that vision can play trick. A straight stick submerged in water looks bent, though it is not. Railroad tracks seems to converge in distance, but they do not. And a page of English language print reflects in a mirror cannot be read from the left to right, though in all other circumstances it can. Each of this phenomena is misleading in some way. Okay, so here my main part is this. Okay, that most people have noticed that vision can play trick. Now, from here till here, I'm explaining with the examples that how my point is making sense. Okay, after that, I come to a conclusion that each of these phenomena is misleading. Okay, so this is my main information. This is my explanation. And this is more like a conclusion, or you can say consequences of this. Now, let's go for the options. First says that, but does seeking a straight stick out of water provide a good reason of thinking that when it is in water and it is not bent? Okay, so there can be multiple reasons to eliminate one single option. I have two reasons here. First of all, my main focus is not only on stick. It is only an example, one of the examples. Okay, so my last sentence cannot come up with something random, which is I'm only giving an example of. First reason. Second reason is it is having a question mark. It means if I'm having a question mark, I'm asking a question which needs an answer. Otherwise, I cannot leave a passage with simply a question mark. I need an answer for that. Same goes for the second, same explanation goes for the second option as well. Question mark. And again, I'm only talking about one of the examples. Cannot be my sentence. Okay. I'm left with third and fourth. Let's see. Thus, the difficulty cannot be resolved by appealing to input from the other senses. Okay. Once more, we are not talking about senses. We are not talking about senses at all. My point is that vision is playing trick. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if both one is inappropriate or not, or we have to choose something from the available options only. Anyone who believes that the stick is bent, that the roll track coverage and so by mentioning them, and by saying so on, we are covering the remaining whatever examples we have given. We have covered those examples by saying so on, is mistaken about how the world really is. Misleading, main topic is covered, and examples, it is not required to have examples, but it is covering. So if I talk about, it is providing me with the conclusion of the entire passage by covering. Conclusion is what? A crux of the entire passage. So here I'm coming up with my crux that I said that vision can play trick, it is misleading, and came up with the example. So I come up with my final conclusion that if you are believing this, it means you are mistaken about how world really is. So I come up with my final conclusion, my main idea, my examples, consequences, and conclusion. Last sentence is always having the nature of conclusion. Okay, I hope you guys have understood it really well. Let's proceed for the another question. Okay. Next, what is meant by coming to feel at home in a new place or with new people? It is simply that at first, when we we take up our quarters in a new room, we do not know what drawer may blow in upon our back, what doors may open, what forms may enter, what interesting objects may be found in cupboards and corners. When after a few days we have learned the range of all these possibilities, the feeling of strangeness disappears. Okay, so we are describing that once we go to a new place. In my introductory sentence, I'm talking about a new place and new people. In remaining part, I'm discussing that how you get adjust your experience about new place and how you eventually get familiar with the new place and everything. What is the first feeling? You expect unexpected things, you get excited about certain things, and eventually that feeling goes away of strangeness. Okay, and you become all familiar. Now, as I said, we have introduced two things, but we are only talking about one thing, that is new place. Where is new people? My question is this. So, my first focus should be on that I should look for an option which is having people in it, which is describing about people. Okay, like eventually we describe that how new place, what are the experiences, that how eventually we get familiar with it. So, same supposed to be with people as well, because we are saying that these are the same things. Now, excuse me, let's look for the options. The same is true when a great happiness awaits. About happiness, which we are not talking about in the entire passage. It is more about that how strange we feel at the beginning and how eventually we get comfortable, coming to feel at a home feel. Okay. Second says, let now this haunting sense of futurity be thrown off its bearing or left without an object, and immediately uneasiness takes possession of the mind. Okay. So till now, we have already concluded that this feeling of strangeness disappear. Then why we are bringing it back? Why we are saying that immediately uneasiness takes possession in the mind? We have already concluded. Our feeling of uneasiness has already gone in the passage. Then there is no requirement of bringing it back. We have concluded the feeling. Now, next says, and so it does with people when we have got past the point of expecting any essentially new manifestation from their character. Okay, so this actually explains that we are talking about people when we have got past the point of expecting any essentially new. It means when gradually they have become old to us, expecting we have passed that point of expecting any new thing, okay, from their character. It means now we are well aware that what the person is. Same happening here also. Eventually you are expecting all new things. Cupboard में से क्या आएगा, यहाँ क्या मिलेगा, वहाँ क्या मिलेगा, what can come behind me, what can blow me off, and whatever we are coming up with. So same is happening here. No new expectation is there. So what we can then say that we are talking about people also. So this one makes sense. None of the above cannot, because we have already found an appropriate one. So if we go by three options, third one makes total sense. I hope this point is clear to you. Very first thing is we are talking about new place, new people. New place is already described in the passage, whereas new people is missing. So all I need in my last sentence, the remaining to complete the paragraph, I need to have certain information about new people, which is there in third one. Okay. I hope this one is clear to you. If you guys again have any question, make sure that you drop your queries in the chat box. I'll take it at the end of the session. Now, proceeding next. In accordance with the goal that he assigned to philosophy, Epicurus' teaching had a dogmatic character. In substance, if not in form, he called these treatises dialogism or conversations. Since the utility of the doctrines lay in their application, he summarized them in stoichia or elementary propositions to be memorized. In this respect, Epicurus was the inventor of the catechetical method. It means something related to teaching of religion. The number of works produced by Epicurus and his discipline. So here, till now, we were talking about that what his teaching reflects. It is more about dogmatic character. It means such feeling in which we just disagree to accept that we are wrong. that is dogmatic behavior, that is dogmatic character. We feel that something is correct, that is correct. And if someone is proving us wrong, we say that this is an exception. We don't believe that we are wrong. We stick to that thought that yes, our thought is absolutely correct. So we are explaining that this was his character. Okay, character of teaching. Now, from here, we have introduced some other people, that is his disciplines, followers. Reveals an impressive theoretical activity, but so here we talk about a contradict. No less important was the practical action in living by the virtues taught by him and in honoring the obligation of reciprocal help in the name of friendship. Okay, so till now we have spoken about his character and what type of teaching he is having and everything related to that. Okay, from here we switch to his discipline, that how people are actually bringing those in, in their application, they are practicing it, they're showing it off in their actions, and how they are doing it, and the role of Epicurus in it. Now let's see. First, in 206 BC, Epicurus established his school at Athens in his garden, from which it came to be known as gardens. Okay, so this goes with the passage, but if we talk about this particular information, this supposed to be somewhere before this, before we introduced, but or maybe ideally till here. So somewhere from here to here method. Okay, ideally this information belongs at this part, not at the end, because we have already introduced a new topic about his discipline and practicing of his action and everything. So what he did and how he started supposed to be in this part. So this cannot be the last sentence. Obviously this can be the part of the passage, but not suitable for last sentence. Second says, in these endeavors continuous assistance was rendered. Okay, so he's providing assistance, so that has to be with his disciplines. So by going with the first starting of the sentence goes with the last sentence. And by Epicurus himself, who, even when old and ill, was occupied in writing letters to admonishments, guidance, and comfort, everywhere announcing his gospel of peace and, under the name of pleasure, inviting to love. Okay, so somehow this one makes sense. We are not taking this as our answer, but just keeping it like an option. Reason, because this is actually going with my passage. We were talking about disciplines, then this is showing that he provided them with discipline. This shows that he was teaching something, and this shows that now he's expanding that. So goes with the option, passage. Makes sense. Let's keep this as an option for now. Several fundamental concepts characterized the philosophy of Epicurus. Okay, so here we are talking about several fundamental concepts. It means if I'll keep this option in my last sentence, what it will demand? It will demand those several fundamental concepts explanation, which I don't have with me. So I cannot take this as my option answer. Now, next is, in popular parlance, Epicureanism does mean devotion to pleasure, comfort, and high living with certain nicety of style. Okay, again, a new piece of information, kind of, which we are coming up with, which may demand further explanation. So that's why second one absolutely goes with the passage with a proper consistency with the content. So second becomes my answer. Next, some critiques of skepticism, it means that tendency of doubting everything, has contended that it is an untenable view both logically and humanly. It means not that supportive argument, we can say. Any attempt to formulate the position of self-refuting, since it will involve at least some knowledge claims about what is supposed to be dubious. Okay. Montaigne suggests that what the skeptics needed was a non-assertive language, reflecting the claim of Sextus that the skeptic does not make assertion but only chronicles his feelings. Okay, so till now we are talking about that what skepticism is and how this is more like a kind of non-reliable concept. Okay, logically it's logically and also humanly. This is a kind of position in which there is self-refuting, but then again we need to be clear about that what we are refuting, what we are dubious about. It means on what we are having certain doubt over. Okay, Surya Kiran, I'll take your doubt in last. Okay, once we complete with this question, I'll take you to your doubt. Okay, so sorry for the interruption. So this is what we are talking about here. Now, next says, but the strength of skepticism lies not in whether it can be stated consistently, but its effect on the argument of dogmatic philosopher. Okay, so if you feel that you didn't understand this part well, it's okay. Why? Because from here we have anyway introduced a completely new information. And remember, but always usually brings contradiction. So if we are talking about something here, we have talking absolutely different, and explanation is given. What explanation is given? That the strength of skepticism lies not in whether, it does not lie whether you know that skepticism is consistent or not. Okay, it is about that what will be the effect of this skepticism on the argument of dogmatic philosopher. It means a dogmatic philosopher, someone who stick to his opinion, no matter what. He refused to leave that particular idea of about anything. He believes in something, he's gonna stick to it. No matter how many evidence you provide to that philosopher, he'll stick to his argument only. If you provide evidence, he'll say that this is an exception, he'll stick to it. Okay, that is dogmatic. So we need to see that if you are skeptic, it means you are dubious, it means you have doubt over certain thing, which is absolutely different from dogmatic. Dogmatic is stick to his opinion. Skepticism is when you are dicey about certain things, when you are still in doubt whether this should be correct or not should be correct, like that. So we are talking about that what will this doubtful concept, skepticism, will have effect on dogmatic philosopher. Okay, now let's see which one is supposed to be the answer. As Hume said, skepticism may be self-refuting. So here we are self-refuting. It means we are refuting our own opinions. That's why we are in doubt. But in the process of refuting itself, it undermines dogmatic. Okay, so we are actually undermining dogmatics in this process because we are refuting. So that goes absolutely against of dogmatism. It actually undermines dogmatic. Next, in Western thought, skepticism has raised basic. Okay, so when we are talking about thought. This information belongs somewhere here. Here we have already introduced more information, a little elaborated one, in which we also have dogmatic philosopher. So belongs to the passage, but not in the last. The original Greek meaning of skeptikos was an inquirer, someone who was unsatisfied and still looking for truth. Okay, so this information ideally belongs somewhere here, where we have introduced skepticism, or at the very first sentence. So it has to be somewhere in the introduction part, whether it has to be the very first sentence or it has to be the second sentence. Apart from this sentence cannot fit anywhere. It has only two positions, either before first sentence or after first sentence. So you can easily eliminate this. From ancient times onwards, skepticism has developed argument to support the contentions of dogmatic philosophers, scientists, and theologians. Okay, again, does not belong to the passage at all. We are talking about the nature of the skepticism. Okay, so that's why this doesn't suit. This was anyway providing the meaning of it. Origin kahan se hua? So makes sense. This again goes somewhere here. So we are left with only one option, because this is the only option in which we are actually paying attention on the relationship of dogmatism and skepticism. Okay, so hence this one becomes our answer. Okay, so I hope my idea is pretty clear to you. You guys must have understood a little from this session, and you must have come up with certain idea how to go for last sentence or paragraph completion. Okay, so before I wind up the session, let's take Surya Kiran's doubt. Okay, so I think he was having doubt related to this question, that why fourth one is inappropriate. Okay, I hope Surikant, I'm on the right question. You were having doubt related to this question only. Okay, so we have eliminated these two. Sorry, uh, first and third. Your concern was with fourth. Fourth says, in popular parlance, Epicureanism thus means devotion of pleasure, comfort, high living with certain nicety of style. Okay, so this is actually generating a new term. First, we need to say this. Just because the person name is Epicurus, we cannot name. So we need to come up with the proper explanation to this first of all. Okay, and this says thus means, so I need to come up with the thing that why we are calling it. So I can't keep this as my last sentence, but before that there has to be certain information which can justify my Epicureanism. Just because the person's name was Epicurus, we cannot name it like that. We need to come up with the term that why we have named it, from where this term got generated, and why we are calling it, and why this has to be the devotional of pleasure, comfort, and I can keep this information again after second, because I'm introducing peace, pleasure, and inviting to love in second sentence. Okay, here it is not given. In this, it is nowhere given that why we should come up, why we should name this particular idea like a devotional of pleasure, comfort, and high living with certain nicety style. Okay. Moreover, these are not justified. Again, high living, but in what terms? So there are multiple questions with fourth one. Some to a level, to a point, I can relate to it, but there it actually leave a lot of question for me. First of all, the most important part is this one only, that suddenly from where we are coming up with Epicureanism, because we are explaining the meaning of this. So from somewhere I need to come up with the idea that why we have named it, from where we have come up with this term. So this fourth one demands a little more information with it to make a total sense. Again, we can keep it as a part of the sentence, but it demands further explanation. Okay, like this information, if we talk about first option does not demand any additional information. It only need to be somewhere here. Okay, but fourth one demands some more information to make a total sense. That's why we have to eliminate fourth one. I hope my idea is clear to you. Okay, so I hope every single question is clear to you and you guys have no doubt related to anything. I hope this session was little fruitful for you and a little productive. So okay, so to learn some more topics, to learn something more about MBA entrance exams, keep watching MBA Pathshala sessions, and you guys can also go for one session LRDI question. You're gonna learn a lot about small tricks and tips and everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed and learn a little by the time. Keep practicing and take care.